Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on the ample problems appertaining to not being a high-value woman. So what are some of the problems appertaining to not being a high-value woman? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. If you are not a high-value woman, it is all the more arduous, all the more cumbersome, and all the more ineffably difficult to rapidly cultivate a behemoth network, which causes you to struggle all the more to avail yourself of collaboration opportunities with other professionals. If you are not deemed to be a high-value woman, then you're going to be spurned more frequently by the gatekeepers of opportunities who reserve opportunities for high-value women. High-value women do not have any more intrinsic value as human beings than other types of women. High-value women, however, are afforded more opportunities than other types of women. So just bear that in mind. Allow that to marinate into the chasms of your mind. Allow that to seep into the bowels of your mind. If you are not deemed to be a high-value woman, it is going to be all the more arduous for you to be able to afford to finance your entrepreneurial pursuits if you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur. If you're not deemed to be a high-value woman, it is going to be all the more cumbersome for you to be inducted into more social circles. If you are not deemed to be a high-value woman, it is going to be all the more cumbersome for you to be able to reach your high aspirations and reach your overarching goals, which can indeed be expensive to pursue. If you're not a high-value woman, it is going to be all the more arduous for you to be able to actualize your latent potential. You need to have substantial wealth as a precursor for being able to actualize your latent potential, because it is extraordinarily expensive to finance pursuing your higher aspirations and overarching goals. If you're not deemed to be a high-value woman, you're going to be all the less apt, all the less poised, and all the less primed to be able to live a exhilarating, stimulating, enthralling, fulfilling, interesting, inspirational, eventful, meritorious life, since you're going to have substantially less wealth to be able to live your life as you deem fit. When you lack wealth, your needs, wants, and desires cannot be assuaged. When you lack wealth, you cannot afford to finance entrepreneurial pursuits. When you lack wealth, your time is not liberated. When you lack wealth, it is more cumbersome to bring your dreams to fruition. When you lack wealth, it is more arduous to actualize your grandiose, lofty, ambitious visions. When you lack wealth, it is all the more cumbersome to manifest an auspicious, prosperous, abundant, and blissful future for yourself into reality. When you lack wealth, you're more inclined to work for an employer which dispossesses you of your time. You never want to borrow equity out of your time, life, health, happiness, dignity, and future wealth for a pittance of a non-subsistence wage imposed by an employer. You never want your earnings potential to be tethered to your time. You want to be able to establish multiple recurring revenue streams and subsequently build them up, so that you have the latent potential to generate revenue past the time span of your lifetime from your monetizable intellectual properties. So When you're not deemed to be a high value woman, life becomes more cumbersome. Brooking your day-to-day life is difficult when you're not deemed to be a high value woman. You do not want your life to be dull, monotonous, banal, repetitious, lackluster, uneventful, uninteresting, nor uninspiring. You want to be able to live a meaningful, fulfilling, worthwhile, meritorious, laudable, inspirational, eventful, stimulating, exhilarating, exciting, and ineffably epic life, and not forgo doing so. You do not want to live a life that is fraught with misgivings, or qualms, or regrets. You want to be able to actualize your latent potential, as well as reach your overarching goals and reach your higher aspirations, and live your life to its utmost fullest. So, even though life is more cumbersome, more arduous, and more difficult when you're not deemed to be a high value woman, you have the latent potential to transcend into becoming a high value woman if you so choose to do so. Once you become a high value woman, your life will become more easier. You have more time to hone in on embracing health optimization measures. And if you become a high value woman, it will be easier for you to be able to reach your overarching goals, reach your higher aspirations, and reap the most out of life. And even be a benefactor to the world. If you can become profoundly successful as an entrepreneur, then you can provide unprecedented value to your target market in the form of your product offerings and service offerings. Be a pioneer of your own destiny. Do not settle for insipid mediocrity. Do not need to resign yourself to the status of a non-high value person. You can become a high value woman if you so choose to do so. You can become profoundly successful as an entrepreneur if you are a career woman, or you could ascend the corporate hierarchy if you are a career woman. Not every woman has a wealthy father who can bequeath them substantial wealth. A high value woman can be self-made, metaphorically speaking. She has the latent potential to become extremely wealthy. She can generate extreme wealth if she's able to be profoundly successful as an entrepreneur. If you are not a high value woman, your life is going to be all the less pleasant than it otherwise would be if you were deemed to be a high value woman. This is because high value women have substantial wealth, whereas other types of women lack substantial wealth. You need wealth in order to assuage your wants, needs, and desires. You need wealth to do almost anything in life. And without it, you're all the more apt to stagnate in life. You want to be able to thrust your life in a forward movement trajectory. You want to be able to make profound contributions to the world on a global scale that enrich people's lives, on that elevates the standard of living. If you lack wealth, it's going to be more cumbersome to finance your entrepreneurial pursuits. And you're more than likely going to have less purview over your time than you otherwise would have if you had substantial wealth. You never want to relinquish your sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, and valuable time for a pittance of a non-subsistence wage. Having wealth can be empowering, whereas lacking wealth can be disenfranchising and depowering. You never want to be demoralized. You never want to regress. You never want to be impeded, nor stymied, nor stifled, nor encumbered, nor obstructed. So do everything in your purview to pull yourself out of the muck and mire and become a high-value individual. If you choose to not become a high-value woman, then lamentably your life will be more cumbersome than it otherwise would be in the long haul if you were a high-value woman. A high-value woman has substantial wealth, whereas other types of women lack substantial wealth. Lamentably, wealth is needed for almost everything in life. You cannot even attain your utmost lowest level basic needs relegated to the lowest tier of Maslow's hierarchy of needs if you lack wealth. So, I hope that you deem this video to be enthralling, captivating, riveting, insightful, intriguing, and informative. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.